Hi travelers, Tara here, Hidden Lotus Tarot, and I am coming to you today with a general reading for the sign of Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising for December 2016. Today is November 20th, 2016, and Neptune has gone direct. We are still dealing with the yearly transit of Jupiter in Libra. We have a new moon in Sagittarius coming up on the 29th. Ideally, what should happen once Neptune goes retrograde is that you're going to have more access to your intuition. But Neptune also can breed a lot of disillusionment, delusions, illusions, self-deceptions, deceptions from other people, and just a bunch of confusion. Now, unlike a Mercury retrograde, what happens with Mercury, it's a inner planet, it's a smaller inner planet, so its orbit is a lot faster. So typically when a Mercury retrograde occurs, right before it gets ready to slow down, there's a 2-week time period where it slows down to station into retrograde. And it's in retrograde for 3 weeks, and then it'll restation direct, and then it'll start to travel, pick up speed to get back into orbit. And that takes about 2 weeks. So you're looking at, during a Mercury retrograde, typically about maybe 7 to 8 weeks out, okay, of time. With Neptune, it is a larger outer planet, and therefore it travels a lot slower, so it takes a lot longer for it to slow down and pick up speed. So I would assume that probably all the way into January, that's when it's really going to start to get back into its regular orbit. This is going to be a general reading, and the messages will not resonate with everyone. Gemma, who emailed me, here is your Libra reading. Okay. I hope this time the camera will stay on. I know you guys got shorted last month, and I apologize for that. The messages will not resonate with everyone, so please check back to your moon and rising sign as it is posted. I'm almost done. I have Scorpio to finish, and that will be the last one, and then all of them will be posted up. In order to gain more clarity on your situation requires a personal reading. I do readings 6 days a week. My turnaround time is between 48 to 72 hours from the time that you pay and book to the time of the reading. I don't believe in making people wait. If you are interested in booking a reading with me, you can simply go to the little icon up in the corner there, click that link, and it'll take you directly over to the website. Now, I have been doing some website changes, so there may be a few glitches in there. You are required to both submit payment and the booking form. I can't do the reading without the information. I need information to do the reading with. So I'm not exactly sure if the forms are working correctly. So if you book and I send you back an email saying, hey, look, you need to fill out the form, and you say to me, you email me back and you go, well, I filled the form out, that means that I didn't get it. We can still book. After I complete the videos, I've got to go into the website and do whatever it is that I need to do. I've also created a private Facebook group. You can find the link to that in the About section of the channel. Keep in mind that I have to approve you to come in. So if you have sent the request to join and you hasn't been done yet, know that I am getting to it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I've done some pre-shuffling of the cards, and the first card that has come out is the Page of Cups. Now, the pages typically represent some kind of message or news, but they also can represent an opportunity for a new beginning. And since we do have Jupiter in Libra, there are new beginnings for you. You will be receiving plenty of opportunities. Jupiter comes in every 12 years to each sun sign, and it typically comes after a Saturn retrograde. Well, the Saturn retrograde into your sign, or the Saturn return into your sign, you really experience a lot of tough things, depending on where it is in your chart when it well, it doesn't matter because it comes into the whole sign. So you can really struggle in some areas, and you're really required during that time to try to shore up things and build a firm foundation, something that's going to stand the test of time. It needs to be something solid. Saturn is the Lord of Karma and the Lord of Time. So when you have a Saturn return, it's typically for 2 years, but it can take almost 4 years for you to fully recover from that, depending on, how severe it hit you. Well, Jupiter comes in right after that to give you that kind of a break, and it brings you a whole bunch of opportunities. Now, some of those opportunities, you know, not everything that glitters is gold. So you're going to have to figure out a way to determine what things are really worth value. Remember, Saturn just taught you something. So whatever area you were struggling in during that Saturn return, you know, you're now getting a chance to shore up whatever work that you've done to fix it. And then it's about, you know, putting some things on the back burner and focusing on more important things. Of course, some opportunities you're just going to have to pass up. Wherever Jupiter lands in your chart is where Jupiter wants to give you gifts and opportunities and expansion. It's about growth, abundance, expansion, good times, things of that nature. Jupiter in Libra also rules. Libra is the 7th house of marriage and partnerships and those one-to-one relationships. So there's really going to be an expansion on all levels in every type of relationship: business, personal, familial, romantic. And then for some of you, you're going to find out that the rubber has met the road, and you're now being given the opportunity to leave this one particular relationship in whichever relationship that happens to be in, and perhaps enter into another one. Some of you may end up not entering into any relationships. You may continue on as you are. Those are choices that you have to make. So the page comes in to say that indeed some of you have received news, will be receiving news. I think for some of you, this could be a surprise, something that has suddenly come in. And the cup just simply means that it's something that has a real emotional quotient for you, something that typically makes you feel good. Some of you perhaps may have an opportunity to move. And I say that because he's standing on the shore of a beach, okay? We'll see how the rest of the cards play out. Now we can see that behind him, there's nothing on the water, but there's a lot of, you know, waves going on. It's not something that's crashing, but something that's a little undulating. So maybe your feelings are changing daily towards certain things, situations, and people. Let's put the rest of the 9 cards down. 3 of Swords. See? That undulation of the water. Knight of Swords. Now these cards, I just seen these 2 cards come out in the Virgo reading. High Priestess, the Sun, and the 2 of Pentacles. Now this card rules neighborhoods and communities. And remember I was saying it could be that you might be moving. Well, there's some of those ships that can be travel or movement. And again, it speaks to an imbalance, and we know that Libra is all about balance. It is the symbol of the scales. It also is related to justice, the major arcana card in the tarot. The Fool card, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Emperor. You know, almost the same exact spread for the Virgos. And I'm looking at this Earth sign here. So some of you may be dealing with an Earth sign, and some of you may be dealing with a fire sign individual. Even a water sign here. I have 3 water cards here. Now, welcome new subscribers to my channel. You diehards, thank you so much for sticking with me and being very, very patient while I get these readings out. Let's just delve into the reading. I have 4 major arcana cards here. So in one respect, 4 out of 9 kind of says you kind of somewhat have some control over it, but then you kind of don't. It's more weighted towards you having some control over it. I do have the luminary sitting right in the center, and there are 3 cards in the tarot which govern all things. They rule all things. Those are the 3 luminaries: the sun, the moon, and the star. In other words, they affect everything all the time. That's a constant. The universe, the cosmos, is a constant. But we also know within the universe there are changes. And it's weird because this represents the moon, this High Priestess. She represents the moon in the form of a person or just an energy. It's not the moon, but she's representative of the moon. Now, some of you, I don't know if you might be dealing with someone or maybe you yourself, initials B and J or L and B. I'm going to throw that out there. Although they really stand for Boaz and Joachim. They're the two pillars, the masculine and the feminine. And that high priestess sits balanced in between. I don't think it's an accident that the sun has come in the very, very center, because it brings about illumination and life and positivity. So it even negates this Three of Swords here. I do feel that some of you, oh, as I was saying for the new people, so I have the four major arcana. The tarot is separated into two different decks, okay, for theoretical purposes. The 78 cards, these are going to be your court cards, like your pages, knights, kings, and queens, as well as the numbered cards, the pips, the 3, the 2, the 4, from the aces to the 10. And that is what the regular playing card deck is based upon, okay? But then at some point, somebody added 22 cards that are known as the major arcana. And the major arcana represent the different phases of life that you go through, the different challenges as you go through life, but it also represents the arc of your spiritual and evolutionary, spiritual evolutionary arc, okay? So it's designed to teach you spiritual lessons. It is practical lessons, things you have to go through, but you go through them designed to help you move along the spiritual evolutionary chain, okay? These are representative of the three of the people powers in the major arcana. Even the major arcana are separated out into different categories. For those of you who want to learn tarot, I'm getting my classes together, so this is going to be some of the stuff that I'm teaching you. But in other words, these typically represent either some aspect of yourself or some aspect of another person that you may be involved with. I have, for all intents and purposes, 2 court cards here, a Page of Cups and a Knight of Swords. The overall energy is this Knight of Coins. Now, I can see that, as I said, some news has come in. For some of you, this news, you know automatically, using your intuition, that this is your opportunity for a new beginning. And that's really what the Fool is. He's representative of the aspect of being an infant. In other words, we've now come through some type of cycle. The last card of the major arcana is the World card. We have stepped out of that protective bubble. That usually represents our Saturn, stepping out of our Saturn return. And now we've come in here with the energy of the Fool. So this is something brand new. So this is about not being so worried about those things that come ahead. Why? Because you don't know what's going to come ahead. It's a brand new cycle for you. There are going to be brand new challenges. But this card can also be about traveling, going on a trip. The Fool, keep on the move. But it can also represent being foolish and reckless, because even babies do things foolishly and recklessly, but it's only because they don't know any better. Okay? They don't have that experience in which to gain. That's why we have to come in and say, no, baby, no, don't do that. So we can see here past, present, future, and the interplay. So we can see that indeed there is some news that has come in. I think intuitively you know that this can be something good for you, and that it's an opportunity for you to start fresh and anew. Now we're going to be pulling Sabilas on this, because even though I don't read reverse cards because they just don't speak to me, but I always feel that whatever negative or whatever warning or whatever advice for a challenge, you're going to get that card anyway, either here or clarifying with the Sabilas. I can also see here that whatever offer has come in, for some of you, you have considered this a loss. This is Saturn and Libra. This represents not being able to go forward in some type of partnership. Okay, feeling that somebody stabbed you in the heart. But look, these are swords, and the swords represent thoughts, ideas, perceptions, beliefs. Okay, It is the realm of air. And even though you may feel this way, and you think you're never going to come out of this, it's not the 9 and the 10. The 10 of Swords is really a difficult energy to come out of. This one, it says, okay, you know what? I'm disappointed. It didn't work out the way that I thought it did. You know, I'll take that loss and that sacrifice. But then I have this Knight of Swords, and this represents Gemini. It represents the 3rd house, so this is communications. Again, what the Swords represents: thoughts, perceptions, ideas, belief, communications, not only communications with others, but also the communication we have with ourselves. This rules neighborhoods and communities. So this could be some kind of news where you feel there's a sacrifice surrounding your home and your community, but something coming in quite swiftly to kind of, it would actually be a 4 of Swords to kind of make you maybe stop and pause a moment. If I add the 3 swords with the 1 that he has here. But whatever this is, it can be also another message that comes in, but it comes in right at the same time that you're going through this 3 of Swords energy. Now, for some of you, you're going to have to go within and try to figure out what that means. Some of you, I think, will gain that illumination. However, this illumination may mean that you may have to get up and move. It may have to do with you trying to figure out how that's going to be done. We see the guy with the 2 pentacles. This can be a financial difficulty of some sort, but it can also just be you trying to keep things up in the air, not dropping a ball. You know, of course, that throws you a little off balance because there's only so much we can do, you know, at one time. Feeling all a sea. Nevertheless, the Fool says, go ahead and take that risk. Try it and see, because it's trying to come into open you up into a new way of, I don't know, just something new. I'm not getting the message of that. Hold on. I want you, 1 second. Go to your house. No, go to your house. To your house. To your house. Go to your house. Sorry, I don't know what she keeps. She gets up her bed and then she comes, she stands right here and she looks at me. And then she just stands there. So I don't know what she wants. But anyway, I can see perhaps for some of you that even though this opportunity has come or is being presented to you, that some of you don't want to move. Now, this card can be about hanging on to present assets while still looking towards the future. But it could also be you not wanting to invest anything into the future. This is sort of like just kind of staying in one place. It could be because of finances. That's first and foremost. I do have these 2 scenes of water. And then here's a cityscape in the background. So again, I'm kind of getting the message that there could be a possible move coming. And I do have the 2 fours. And the 2 fours mean either someone thinking about, it's a change of address. Now, whether this is you're literally going to be moving from one shore to the other, whether you might be leaving a desert plain, a cityscape, or a mountainous region here. I think in one respect, I have this wall behind this horse. And that wall, to me, is not only protecting, but it's also walling off those things really that don't need to be in that garden. You see the sunflowers there and the baby there. Again, we're getting the idea, this is the infant. So, you know, really some things are shining on you as if it's a new life. Now, he represents the father of the tarot. And sometimes she can represent the other woman, the hidden woman that you don't know anything about. Now, I don't know if this is talking about maybe there's a pregnancy coming. I do have the 2 ideas of infants, and then here's a child. So this could maybe not be about a pregnancy. It could be about children being involved. Definitely something to do with movement based upon the sun. A really, really, even the baby has a little red feather. Okay, and feathers are all about, if I'm not mistaken, they represent being connected to the divine. You know, birds fly high, the color red. Um, it speaks to kind of clarity of thought here. We have this banner, which makes an announcement here. It's red, full of fire and passion and ambition. This could be even the horse. So I do feel that many of you two horses will be moving. Here's another horse. Now, the Emperor is about harnessing, being able to think logically and rationally about what it is you need to be doing and not allowing your emotions to so much come into play. That's how he became the emperor, okay? He's not a king, he's an emperor. And he's got to do things sometimes that maybe he doesn't want to do in order to keep everybody in check. But at the same time, he knows that you can't always be a hard ass. You have to be nice and show kindness to people at some point as well. That's how you keep them from overthrowing you. So his main job is to increase his territories and his holdings. This could be someone who is a leader, a mentor. He could be in the military, have a high-ranking position in the military. But he can also be someone that's very, very stubborn, who has that my way or the highway kind of an energy. But it's a 4, and it speaks to the stability. Now, if I add the 1 and the 4 together here, I'm sorry, the 1 and the 5, yeah, that gives me 4. I don't know what I was just thinking. So it's the I and the V. Okay, if it was the other way around, I could add them together, but this is subtraction. So I have the 2 4s. Now, if I were to add these two numbers together, this would give me an 8. And 8 speak to news coming in that changes relationships. But it's also speak to having some kind of concern concerning a new partnership or relationship. Okay? And maybe this is what the 2 of Pentacles is all about. However, the overall energy of the spread is the Knight of Pentacles. He is the slowest knight in the deck. He is someone who plots, who plans, who may think about things for years before he actually makes a move. Okay, it can be boring. You like, what the hell are you waiting on? But at the same time, typically whatever endeavors that he chooses to do tend to be very successful. Why? Because he's taken the time out to plot and plan and put things into place. Very, very grounded energy here. Now, 1, 2, 3. Next to the major arcana, because I have 4 of them here, the next weight would be the Pentacles. So I think for some of you, this really is going to be some type of, at least finances will be playing a role in it. Not a big role, but a role. Right down the center, I see here that we have this 3 of Swords. Yeah, I'll take that loss. That shit hurts, but I'll take it. But the Sun comes in to say, you know what? It's still going to be okay. And maybe this is just you not deciding to, because that's an offer. That's an offer. And it could be an offer coming in from someone like this. Okay? But if you're coming out of this 3 of Swords space, this might just be where you are. And sometimes this card can say that, you know, it's best to sit where you are right now. Why would I say that? Not to make any sudden moves, because here we have this Knight of Pentacles, who's the slowest knight of the deck. Okay? Now, I also see, I look at the knights as events. There's interpretation that they can represent messages and events. So I've got 2 messages here. I also have the card of messages from the divine. This is your intuition. And the High Priestess knows things. She knows things. She is the keeper. She has the keys to the library. She knows a lot of things. Okay. And if she thinks you're worthy, she'll tell you. A lot of times she just watches and doesn't say anything. But then sometimes you can approach her, and if she thinks you're worthy enough, she'll go ahead and pull those keys out of her pocket and she'll open up the library to you. This can sometimes be about secret knowledge. You see, she's having the Torah on her lap. So she's gifted in a lot of ways. Now, the veil that sits behind her is full of pomegranates. Okay, and there's an old saying, it used to be in the olden days when people got married, they gave them pomegranates as part of the wedding gift. And the message is, may you have as many children as there are seeds in the pomegranate. So she speaks to having some kind of access to knowledge that is very fruitful and abundant when she's being in her positive energies. She's also very watery, in the sense that she's very, very perceptive to energetic currents. Okay. She can kind of pick up on things about people. And whether or not you are a card reader or a psychic or whatever, everybody has intuition. Everybody has intuition. It's just for some, it is more developed and more pronounced than others. But everybody has intuition. So the first thing I want to do, the card that stands out the most to me is I see this Knight of Swords. So this is some event, something happening quite swiftly. Now, this is in the future column. Whatever it is, it kind of destabilizes. The twos represent balance, duality, and choices. Okay? Kind of being of two minds, so to speak. My allergies are bad. That's because I've had the heat on. I had a tank top and flip-flops on 2 days ago. This morning I woke up, I can't put enough clothes on to stay warm. So heat kind of dried me out. Now the fours alone just speak to some kind of stability. For some of you, maybe you're going to have to travel back home to deal with your dad. You know, this is kind of a strange, I'm not picking up a lot of messages out of this. So why don't I go to the Sibilis and see. You see, because ideally, what I would think, if it, in order just to get a message that was really clear to me, I would have these three cards together. So I had an offer to come in. It came in quickly, but it didn't quite work out. But that's not the way the cards fell. They fell like this. An offer came in. It did not work out, but then something else comes in to very suddenly, some news, some event, something that alerts you to the truth of maybe what this is about. And maybe it's something that you kind of suspected all along. Because it's the moon, we know that the moon hides things. It doesn't always reveal to us like the light of the sun here. So maybe now we've gotten some clarity on that situation, and this has thrown us off a little bit. So now it becomes, do we start off on a new journey, or is it foolish for us to do so? That could be why this Four of Pentacles is here. Let's go to the Sibilis. And literally, this is like something coming in and somebody going, hey, boom, and then they leave. And then here, there's an offer, perhaps from this fire sign male or someone who represents the energy, like the energy, those characteristics that I gave you about the Emperor here. See, no matter which way I go, the sun sits in the middle. And that's really, in a sense, to me, Jupiter shining his fortune down upon you. And as I was saying at the beginning of the reading, you know, there are opportunities that are going to be coming. Some opportunities you're not going to be able to take. Perhaps you shouldn't take them, you know. Remain clear, remain focused. And you will end up, you know, hopefully through careful planning and thinking about it, you're going to end up making the right decision for yourself. You know, what's right for you is not always right for other people. Knight of Swords. That card keeps coming up. The Donna Maritata, the woman with children, or the nurturing person, or someone who has the capabilities to take care of things in a general broad sense. This suspiety, the longing, the sighing, the waiting, but it can also speak to regrets. And again, I'm getting this message of someone being around water. There's a ship waiting for that ship to come in. So some news about a person, a Donna Maritata, or someone who has those kind of qualities. Well, there's my 3 people in a situation. Remember I was talking about the hidden woman? And now here's a Lamante. Now this could be same-sex or heterosexual, but there's some news that comes in. Now let me look at what this 3 of Swords is trying to tell me. These are 2 separate energies here. Or maybe it's about someone hoping to get the news that maybe they've been demoted from this position, from the Donna Maritata to the lover. That doesn't quite sound right. Let me see what this 3 of Swords is trying to tell me. Maybe it'll make sense to me. The desperate jealousy. Excessive attachment to something. Also fear. Not wanting to let go of a situation that you really need to let go of. 3, the 3s. It's funny because I don't really see 3 people in this. And normally I would expect to see maybe like the 5. Typically there's a theme sometimes when the cards are trying to tell you something, but then I have to take a look at what this High Priestess is telling me. Yeah, this is being very, very sad and upset about either a job interview that didn't go well. Maybe you moved to find a job and it just kind of didn't go well. And now you're kind of stuck and you don't know what to do about it. But this could also be wanting to hang on, or the fear of someone leaving to be with someone else. Excessive attachment. Costanza, something immutable about this. And kind of what the cards are telling me is that, you know, this represents, even though it may hurt like hell, there's a truth in it. Okay? There's a truth in that. And maybe not wanting to accept that on the mental plane. Remember, they're swords. Maybe someone has come in and said, you know, I met somebody new. I want a divorce. Because even though this, you know, like I said, this is just based upon emotion, okay? It doesn't mean that it's something good always. This is just something new, a new emotional element has come in for some of you, quite surprisingly so. And I kept saying that because of the way the water is drawn behind him. It's not placid. It's not serene. It's kind of, okay, sitting above this High Priestess. Now, let me take a look at this High Priestess here to see what it's trying to tell me. And again, as I say, maybe some of you have kind of suspected this all along. And this card could be not about a new opportunity, but could be about being foolish and reckless. Pensiero, thought and meditation. And this card can sometimes mean go within. Okay, go within. Listen to what your intuition is telling you. Ah, well, the Domestico. He's kind of a sleazy character. So this could be somebody who kind of slinks in and out. You've allowed him to slink in and out. You haven't asked too many questions. Why? Because your intuition, you're trying to see what your intuition is telling you about that person. It could be the man returning. But typically he is someone who does things. He's supposed to be helping you, but he carries messages back and forth between two places. But then the question becomes, because the other meaning of this card is the collaborator. So if there's messages coming in, do the messages benefit him, the person that he works for? Is he holding back something? Is he not being forthcoming? What is the real meaning behind the message? What does that really mean? Your intuition playing in. Now, I have the Gran Consolazione. This is success or achievement, or success achieved after a long time, but it also has somebody there who's kind of dreaming of what success really means, okay? Because success can mean different things to different people. And there are many different areas in which you can be successful. And it doesn't always have to depend upon what society says, you know? Have your own definition of success there. For some people, it's career. For others, it's education. For some, it's their family. For some, it is the good works that they do. It's all relative, really. I want to look at this Four of Pentacles. Holding on, a loyalty to something. But look, they're facing being loyal to a new beginning, perhaps. A new trip, a new journey. This is definitely a spiritual journey. The Limoneo. Somebody holding out for some kind of, holding out for a new opportunity or a new chance to join forces with someone. That is the card of nuptials. It also speaks to the highly spiritual nature of a couple. So the nuptials, a union, a solid alliance, someone holding firm on that. How can I help this along? This is the card, the Doctore is the counselor. He's a doctor. He's an accountant. He's a another person, sort of like the Donna Maritata, who is able to help in some capacity. I still don't understand what these cards are telling me. And typically we want to clarify things. We look at what we consider to be the negative cards first. When the truth of the matter is there really are no negative cards. It is just negative energy surrounding situations. And, you know, crap just happens sometimes. That's the arc of life. You know, you have to learn to take the good with the bad. It's the wheel of fortune, the rise and fall. Everything is always in flux. And that's kind of the symbolism of the Two Pentacles here in the Namaste, the infinity symbol. Things, you know, there's always change happening and going on. It's how you try to remain balanced and how you deal with those things that really are the measures of being successful in one way, shape, or form. Not saying that you know, that's how he became the emperor, though. He's been able to stay balanced. And this speaks to a little bit of imbalance here. Let's just take a look at that and see if it'll tell me something else. Disgrazia. An extreme misfortune. This is the Tower card, which is funny because the Tower is not funny, like haha, but the Tower is related to Uranus, and Uranus rules the Fool. And this is about sudden, complete, unexpected change. very fast. Something coming in very fast. But it's like it came in to free you up. Okay. The casa surrounding somebody's home life or their idea of what home is. It even looks like a bank, so it could be something coming in that upsets the apple cart on a financial plane. Two Pentacles. Wow. The Sacerdote. And this is another card of a counselor or someone that you feel you can trust, a psychologist, a confessor, maybe even someone who holds a high authority. Maybe this, maybe this could be you applied for a loan or you have invested some money and that it kind of like went up in flames right now, which would not surprise me during this. I mean, it's only been 2 weeks since we've had the election, if you can believe that. And everybody's up in arms. Nobody really knows what's happening. Nobody knows how our new president-elect is going to govern. He's said a bunch of things about trades and tariffs and, putting up walls and sending people back. And, people's businesses are affected. Their families may be affected. Their finances are going to be affected. He's telling people that he's going to bring back jobs. So everything is rather volatile and up in the air right now. And it could be that maybe you took a chance and invested. You took a risk and you invested. And it did not quite go well for you. So now maybe you're trying to figure out how you're going to recoup or recoup your losses that you've had. It is remaining balanced and focused. And then starting over, building yourself a plan. This could even be, in a roundabout way, it looks like it could be a separation or a divorce coming up. Because as I was saying in the beginning, Libra is about it's about marriage and partnerships and those one-to-one, but that is the surface of it. The real work of relationship, whether it's a business relationship, even family relationships and friendships, the real work is that's done kind of quote unquote behind closed doors. In other words, that's the eighth house, and the eighth house is about wills, prenuptial agreements, divorces, child support, alimony, insurance, mortgages, credit cards. When do we have sex? How are we going to divide up the chores between the children? Who's going to be responsible for doing what? That's where the negotiation behind this is. And that's really what makes a partnership work. Even if it's a business partnership, you're in partnership with somebody, you got to get together and be on the same page to know that we're both working to make this business something that that we've thought about. We've invested all of this hard work, so you want to be on the same page. Well, what happens if you fall out with that business partner? Well, then you got to go get a lawyer. You got to find somebody who's a professional who's going to come in and help you carve that up. Okay. Well, we want to sell it now. Well, I put in X amount and I expect this or I expect that, or I want to handle this portion of it and you can handle that. How are we going to carve that up? And it kind of reads like that as well. I really believe that there's no accident that the Saturn and Libra card came at the top of the spread, because you are just kind of moving out of that. Maybe you're still coming out of that. I don't know where it is. I think it was Saturn was in Sagittarius for a while. Yeah. And so that's 2 years out, maybe 3 years. Maybe this is speaking to 3 years. Although typically, just as a general rule, swords represent days or weeks. Coins represent years. Cups represent months, and wands represent weeks. I don't have any wands here, but I do have fire. So this could just be the card speaking of another way in terms of what this is all about. I do see that there's money. Like I said, there's money involved. There could definitely be family involved. This card is not just about meeting, a reunion, two people coming back together. This card could also be, it's also known as the job interview card. Okay. Let's pull cards on, let's see what the offer is here. You know, it could be that somebody's going to have to move. Maybe there's lots of movements for various and sundry reasons. I mean, you know, it could be related to family. It could be related to business, work, finances. Maybe you just need to damn move. Because that's a card of neighborhood and communities. You know, maybe you just need to move. Maybe where you're living now just ain't cutting it for you no more. Maybe you felt a loss. Maybe this really is about the two aspects of one person. Maybe you're sad now because where you live, you no longer feel like this person who can help or to contribute or participate. So you're going to have to leave that behind and move out of a different space. That means you're going to feel differently about it. This is the shy woman who hides her feelings. Okay. Maybe you're sad that you got to leave that part of yourself behind in some way, shape, or form. But know that you're not really leaving it behind. If that's the case, it's coming in to help reshape it. Okay? Bigger, better. Like, what was it? A $6 million man? Bigger, faster, stronger? A lot of y'all too young to remember him. Steve Austin. Well, now, and indeed for some of you, you have found out that there was a third person that has come in. Or if this situation has changed or there's something new about it, it was due to another person coming. This is the card of law enforcement. Remember when I was talking that this guy could be like a police officer or a sergeant, something in the military. But this is also the card of getting caught. And this is the card of privacy, intimacy, and solitude. And this is maybe you getting the news that you're going to have to be by yourself. Why do you have to be by myself? Suddenly, surprisingly. Remember I said it's like a surprise here? And it's thrown me off emotionally. It's a surprise because, you know, love is, it's empty. There's nobody in that room. Why? Because I got caught with somebody, or somebody got caught with somebody else, or I just got myself caught out. I just now realize that this really isn't for me. Okay. I'm going to take a look at what the Knight of Pentacles has to say. I normally don't look at that, the overall energy of the spread, but this is such an odd reading. I'm going to just go ahead and do that to see if it can give me a little bit of information. But just know that you're being asked to go forward slowly, be focused, try to remain fair, rational, logical, and firstly, be fair to yourself. Only when you're fair to yourself can you be fair to others. If you take it slow, eventually you will reach that goal of success that you're looking for. Okay. Now, that's interesting. I really was not expecting to see this. This is a card of hidden intentions, lies, deception, but it could also be fear. Belvedere. Great foresight. Donna de servicio. So I could say in one respect that indeed there was some fraud or some lie or something hidden that came to light. And maybe this is even a fear of someone moving forward ahead. Okay, in some way, shape, or form, they're taking their little gift and they're going to go build something somewhere else. But also it says that in one respect that it's designed to help you. Remember I kept saying that with this card with the sun, and this is designed to help you. And that if this is just your fear that you have, okay, do not fear looking ahead. Whatever this is that has been brought up, take your time with it. Take your time with it. Ultimately, taking your time and really thinking about things, doing your homework, doing the research, studying this. The coins represents the actual doing of something. Move through this and try to make the best decisions that you can based upon the information that you have or the information that you discover for yourself. That will be a positive help to you. Okay. I think the cards just may be tired now. I have one left to do, that's Scorpio, and I'm probably going to save that for either tonight or tomorrow. The cards do get tired. I've been doing this since early this morning, trying to make up time because I'm really going to have to devote a lot of time to my website this week. So I'm going to pull one angel answer card. I'm going to put these up. So whatever question was not answered by that particular spread, hopefully this will answer the question for you or point you in the right direction. You know, even that high priestess, it's, you know, sometimes she could be about learning as well. And I have 3 male cards of someone who could be like a mentor. The sacerdote, the priest, the single man, the doctore, and then the, and let's face it, whether we are male or female, we can, like I said at the beginning, we can all embody both our feminine and masculine energies at any given point in time. Well, as I said, the cards were no accident. Ask for help from others. Ask for help from others. So there was no accident that that emperor, that sacerdote, and the doctore came out. That was no accident. Anyway, I hope that helped you, Libras. I promised that I would give you a longer reading since the one screwed up last month. So here it is. I guess it's almost an hour. Geez, I didn't even realize that. So until next time, namaste.